Hi, it's me, Rashid, from BHC, and I'm on the Communications and Community subcommittee. And I just wanted to just share with you in this video just some strategies to help you avoid burnout and stress. It's so easy to get caught up in burnout and stress, especially in today's world where we often have busy lives. We may have busy uh, social circumstances. We might have busy work careers or working for ourselves. And there's just so much the pace of life where people can have all sorts of stressful situations, could be personal situations, family situations, all sorts of situations that can mean that they can be stressful. And of course, then there's also co-op situations, all sorts of situations where they can be kind of challenging. So many of us, that's true for us in terms of our lives. And so there's always going to be some degree of stress that we're going to be living with, working, personal, relationship, you name it. But that doesn't necessarily need to mean that it's going to get to that point of burnout. So what I'm going to be sharing here is just 12 simple strategies to help you avoid burnout and to reduce stress. One thing that I'll say is just before we jump in is that depending where you are and what's going on for you personally, professionally, in your relationships and life, some of these strategies may be more successful than others. It might be the case that you might have to do some before the others because of just where you are, what your circumstances are. And that's going to make itself clear as we go through this. So hopefully you'll be able to see my screen. I'm going to take you through kind of clockwise through these 12 strategies over the next 10 to possibly 15 minutes or so. Okay, so the first thing, if we start here at 12 o'clock, is to spot the signs and self-awareness. So get to know yourself. What do you like? What do you like when you're stressed and so on, or when you're becoming stressed? Maybe you feel it physiologically in the body. Maybe it is that you get more tired or you become more short or ratty with people. So begin to spot the signs, because it means if you can begin to spot the signs, you might be able to ward off the stress, the burnout especially. It's a little bit like, sometimes when you know you've got a slight sniffle coming on, and if you take care and if you rest, you might be able to ward off an actual full-blown cold. It can be the same thing with potentially with burnout. If you can spot the signs early enough, then you can be able to take steps, which might include any or all of the others, in order to help you. Next one is sleep. Sleep is so important because sleep is where the mind recharges and the body regenerates. And so sleep is really key. It is the nature's way of healing, physical healing of the body and resting the mind. That's really, really, really key. And this is often this can be a telltale sign of when we are stressed. Actually, if our sleep is interrupted. My tip here is know what your ideal hours of sleep are. It can be really good, I think, to get 8 hours sleep. But I think the thing is also here, what time is it best that you go to sleep? So if you're noticing that, you get to a certain time of the day or the night, the way you are, the body's becoming tired, try not to fight that too much and to get in rhythm with your body. Now, if you happen to be very, very stressed, it might be the case that you might need to do some of these other strategies that we're going to talk about here in order to get your sleep back in gear. But if you can, know the number of hours you need, know the ideal time to go to sleep. So often we know that, it's getting late and so on, but we try and push through and get an extra piece of work done or to try and make an extra call. Please, please, please. Sleep, get yourself that sleep that you need so that you can return to things refreshed and recharged. The next is self-care. You've got a picture here of somebody with feet up and so on. Now that might look differently to you and to each person. For you, it might well be making sure you have a soothing bath and with your favorite incenses or what have you, or reading a book or whatever it might well be, pampering yourself or having a bit of a line from time to time. What does self-care mean for you? And to try and put in that time for that self-care so you can really take care of yourself. And that can be a good thing, that if you've been struggling with something like sleep, to put in a bit of the self-care that then may well help with everything else. Our next strategy is space. Space is a number of things. I mean, it's like here in this picture, it can be going out into nature. Nature can be incredibly powerful, really, really, really powerful. It can be really healing, going out there, having a walk around the park, in the garden, or just, where there's a little bit of greenery, or by the river, wherever. Space, outdoors, nature can be incredibly powerful and restorative. And it can be one of the best ways to avoid stress, to avoid burnout, and so on, because it just has a way of just making us realize when we get into our own small worlds that there's a bigger world out there, and we can breathe and so on. So space, but that might also mean headspace, not taking on too much. It can often mean your physical space at home. Sometimes people find by clearing things away can give you that headspace. So it can be about headspace, it can be physical space, it can be about your living space and your working space. So think about all of those things. By sometimes clearing the space can clear your head, or getting out into space. The next, and you'll notice that these all begin with the letter S, just to make them easy and memorable. The next one here we've got is simplify and scale down. Very often the case is that we're just trying to do too much. You might be trying to do much personally. You might be at a point where you've taken on too much in terms of the co-op or anything. So try and see if you can scale things down and simplify it. If you've got a list of 8 things to do, maybe it's far more realistic that you actually have a list of 3 things to do that day or that week or what have you. So can you simplify? Can you scale things down? I think that is incredibly important. So know what's really important. Know what's most important overall, and what's most important right now. Simplify. Next is structure. Sometimes by putting structures in place can help you, again, avoid the risk of burnout and stress, because it just gives you a little bit of framework to support you. So, you might want to structure your days. Perhaps if you work, you might want to structure working days, or if you're not working, or if you've retired or what have you. Giving a little bit of shape to your days and your weeks can sometimes give you a sense of feeling of support, because then you can spot when things are getting out of shape in terms of that structure. So thinking about, when you're starting your day, what kind of things are you going to do in your day and so on can really, really, really help. And sometimes a tip here is if you can start off with some time for you and for your well-being, and then getting into any of the other worky things you've got to do can be a really good way of structuring your day so that you've certainly got some time for you and for yourself. So it's putting in a structure, a timetable. And then there might be times where you don't need that, but putting in a little bit of structure. Maybe also if you're struggling at certain points, a point in your day where you can make a call to somebody, or where you've got things to look forward to, or when you're breaking for lunch, or when you're going to be doing X or Y, or having a meetup or going for a walk, can be so useful. Putting in a structure for work, play, and everything else, something social structure. Next is support. We can't do it all alone. Support is really, really important. We all need that. Sometimes it might be about friends and family, if we're lucky to have friends and family, or neighbors, or other people perhaps socially from the BHC community, or people you might know professionally. I think support is incredibly important, but there might be times where it might well be that the type of support you might need to be far more professional support. It might be that you might need somebody specific in the area that you're involved in order to support you. It might be a very specific type of support. You might need particular type of advice, and you might need to go somewhere like Brixton Advice Centre. It might be a time where you're needing perhaps emotional support, and there are organizations like the Samaritans that can give that kind of emotional support. So it's worth thinking about the kind of support you need and who is best placed to give you that support. So sometimes it's going to be about friends and family and loved ones. Sometimes it might be support by people who perhaps you're working with and so on. And sometimes it might need to be somebody skilled in that area, or a professional in that area, or who are volunteering, or they're specialised in that area. And we're lucky enough in places like London, in Lambeth, and in the UK to have all sorts of support. It just might require a little bit of work to ask. And I'd say generally here the message is, don't be afraid to ask for help, and to ask somebody, do you know who might be good at X or Y? Next up, smiles, sport. This is about what are the things that you really enjoy? What are the things that give you joy? Maybe if it's playing the guitar, or doing some artwork, or sketching, or writing, or doing poetry. I know so many people in BHC are very creative and so on. It could be going for a walk that gives you joy and makes you smile. It could be cooking, it could be making things, it could be anything. What are the things that you really, really enjoy? It could be actual sport. It could be watching certain things on the TV or what have you that you really, really, really enjoy. The things that bring enjoyment. We know that smiles are really good for our emotional health. And especially if we've got things also that are really good for our physical health as well, that can be really, really good. Maybe enjoy singing, whatever. So many creative things are really, really good also for mind, body, and spirit. But it can be really good if there are things that you enjoy that are fun to do, and also if there are things whereby that's good for your well-being too. So try and keep moving and stretching and so on. You might be the kind of person who likes going to a class, or you might be somebody who just likes watching a YouTube video. On that note, we've got, for example, let's say you can't get out, you don't have that much mobility. On our YouTube channel here, there's a playlist for health and well-being, and there are some videos, for example, to help you just keep moving and keeping active, for example. The next one is signposting. What I mean by that, there might be times where you might need to signpost things to somebody else or delegate where you've got too much. I'm so sorry, I can't take this on. I can't join this committee right now. I can't join this working group, or I can't, or in your own work or with family things or with friends, I can't do this right now. And maybe signposting somebody elsewhere or passing things on. Don't be afraid to ask for help or to signpost things on to somebody else. Maybe it's something where you're not the best at. You know, are you trying to take on things that, is it always you? Could you be signposting something to somebody else, or find out who would be the best person to signpost? So it's really worth thinking about that signpost. Next one is saying no. Sometimes you're just going to need to say, no, I can't do that. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to help you this time around. Especially if you can sense that the burnout is really, really, really near. You sometimes do just need to say, no, I'm so sorry, I can't do that. Try and do it mindfully, try and spot the signs so you can give people time warning and so on. But there might be times, actually, I can't attend this meeting at the moment. I'm really, I've got a lot on, or I'm unwell, or I just need to take care of myself at the moment. I'm feeling I've got a lot on, however it is that you word that. Saying no, but nicely, but don't be afraid to say no. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that at the moment. Next up is silence. Silence, peace. Could be, again, nature. Could be meditation. Whatever it is for you, everyone's different. You might be, you know, kind of person where quiet reading is your silence. You might be the kind of person where just being still, meditation or exercise or whatever is your silent time. But silence can be so good because it can give us a break from the mind. Silence. Sometimes just taking 5 minutes to sit quietly on the sofa, outside, in the garden, in the park, can be powerful to clear our minds. And next, stop and step away. So sometimes you're getting stressed, the risk of burnout, and you might need to stop and step away. Now, that might be, I need to stop and step away from this email or this meeting for just a moment because I'm feeling tired and I'm exhausted. And I just need to freshen up. And especially nowadays when we spend a lot of our time, for example, on a computer. And in fact, that's a good example of that. I'm going to do this right now. So I'm going to stop the share. Do you see? So it might well be I've been involved in anything for too long and I need to just step away from that. So it could be that I need to step away something for a minute. I might need to step away from it from that day because I can't respond to that email today, or I can't deal with that thing at the moment. Or sometimes it might be that you might need to step away for a while. You might need to step away for a committee or a group for a while or something. Just be aware. But throughout all this stuff, I would say try and communicate wherever it is that you're able to. And so that pretty much is our 12 strategies. So I'm going to just share the screen one more time, just to remind us of them. So we've got spot the signs, get to know yourself, be self-aware, sleep, self-care, space, simplify, scale down, putting in structure, getting that support, asking for support, the things that make you smile, the hobbies and sport, signposting. Where is it that you can signpost or delegate, or is there some expertise elsewhere? Saying no nicely and warmly. It's always so important how we do it. Silence, quiet time, meditative time, rest time, sitting on the sofa time, being with yourself time. know when to step away. And again, mix these things up, try them out, see how you get on. Thank you so, so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it really useful, and wishing you all the best. Remember, we've got more videos of this and other kinds to kind of help us with our BHC life and with our general lives altogether. So take really, really good care. All the best. Bye-bye. I'm going to stop recording now, and thank you so, so much for watching.